Between now and Selection Sunday on March 13th, there are still tons of regular season college basketball action to go. Plus, all of the conference tournaments and WagerTalk and Sports Memo are announcing their March Madness Bonanza special, which includes the rest of college basketball regular season, conference tournaments, NCAA tournament through the national championship, and any plays released in the NIT or CBI tournaments. Sign up for this promotion now at your favorite handicappers homepage and get the rest of the college basketball season through the national championship on Monday, April 4th for just $177. That's under $5 a day for one of the best betting experience in sports. Act fast as the March Madness Bonanza special is only available for a limited time.
Good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Welcome back right here to WagerTalk TV. You are watching Puck Time. I am Andrew McInnis, and I'm also really excited to welcome back my co-host, Carmine Bianco, this week with me. Just a few games on tap for today, but a few good ones to go over. We'll break down those games. Best bet for you guys at the end and some promotional stuff as well. Once again, as we tell you every week, it's $9 Monday. Every single play listed for $9, whether it's for today, for tomorrow, or for any other day, listed for $9 only for today at the website. Carmine, for me, man, it was a very up and down weekend. Started at a big up, ended on a little bit of a down yesterday with my college basketball play. I had a team minus 10 and a half. Unfortunately, they never led in that game. So I don't know if it's better or not that I couldn't get my hopes up, or it's just one of those ones where it's just figure out what you did wrong and you move on. But still 2-1 on the year with my college basketball 5% plays. Cashed a big pick Friday in the NHL, and UFC hit that 4% two-fighter parlay. So kind of a roller coaster weekend, but we'll try and move on, learn from it, and cash some winners today. But how was your weekend, Carm?
Yeah. Weekend was good, Andrew. Good to be back. I want to thank everyone. I'll get that in a second. But when your game loses, Andrew, whether you lose by 1 or you lose by 50, it doesn't really matter. It's a loss in the end. I would rather, I'll be honest with you, I would rather, if I had a game, let's say a basketball game, I'd rather my team lose by 30 than win by 9 if they're like a 10-point favorite. It's just, because then you start to look at the things within the game and just you're looking for blame. At the end of the day, a loss is a loss. We just move on. But you're having a great year, so there's nothing to hang your head on. Just keep plugging away, my friend. You and Brian just battling for that NHL number 1. Speaking of which, it was a good NHL weekend, 3-0 yesterday. It's been 2 fantastic weeks sports betting wise, maybe personal life not so good, but 38 units plus 38 units 2 weeks ago. This past week 31 or 32 units. Good little run going on right now, and just try and get it going again, another heater, and keep it going. Again, I want to thank everyone for the messages, just a ton of messages, and even people DMing me. As far as this week goes, it'll be hit or miss. I wanted to do today's show, the Monday show. I won't be here Thursday. Got to wear one of those stupid monitors for 24 hours to see how the heart is doing, but I will do that on Thursday. Prez is away on Wednesday, so Brian Leonard is stepping in Wednesday and Thursday along with Andrew, and they will hold down the fort. A couple other notes. March 18th is confirmed, guys. If you are in Vegas for March Madness, or if you're in the area, pop into the Westgate, the clubhouse at the Westgate in the sports book. We will all be there on the 18th. It'll be myself, Andrew, Brian Leonard, Las Vegas Chris, Marco. The Prez will be there. Our Detroit crew is flying in. Johnny Detroit, pull the strings. He's got the Detroit crew coming in. If you ever talk to our customer service and the people that run the office there, they are just fantastic human beings. They will be there as well. And I'm ordering a ton of swag to give out to you guys who are showing up. I know some of you can't make it, so I'm going to run some contests on Twitter The first one will be on a Wednesday. I'm going to go to the Leafs and Sabres game with 3 of my friends. And I will throw up a contest on Wednesday that you guys can win some swag. So follow the Puck Time Twitter account. And of course, Andrew and I on Twitter as well, too. We'll retweet that contest. And I look forward to giving you guys some stuff.
Yeah, we are super excited for that weekend as a whole, but that day, meeting all kinds of people. I'm excited just to meet all kinds of people from WagerTalk again. Honestly, the Detroit crew, I haven't met those guys yet in person, so I can't wait. So all of you guys out there, if you're in Vegas, you're going to be in town for the weekend, come say hi. We got some merch. We've got some drinks to hand out, hopefully, and we'll all have a great time. So, Karma, I think I speak for everybody. We're happy to have you back. Hope you get better soon completely. And I've had to wear one of those hard things before, man. It is not fun, but just try and occupy time to make that time go by as fast as you can. But today's games, we've got the Maple Leafs and the Washington Capitals going head-to-head. We have the New Jersey Devils and the Vancouver Canucks, and we also have the Boston Bruins as they continue their road trip as they take on the LA Kings. My buy and sell segment will be up after those games, after it went 6-0 last week. We'll try and, do something similar to that again here this week, guys. But without further ado, let's dive into our very first game. Let's chat Maple Leafs and Washington Capitals. We got the Toronto Maple Leafs minus 135 on the road, Capitals plus 115 at home. Total sits at 6. If you're interested in the puck lines for either way, we got minus 1.5 plus 175 for the Leafs, plus 1.5 minus 210 for the Washington Capitals. And there's definitely a storyline here for both these teams right now, Carm. As we take a look at the Washington Capitals right now, their offense has been very inconsistent. I personally thought they were going to snap out of things a little bit and certainly be up for that game against the Philadelphia Flyers. I had the Capitals in regulation, and that was one of those games where it doesn't matter how much possession you have, how much you dominate a game. If you cannot finish, it does not really matter. And Carter Hart played one of his better games of the year I've seen out of him. And the Capitals dropped that one. The Capitals have been struggling to finish plays off, to have depth of scoring. And you see it's kind of, they'll score 4 goals one night, and then the next 2 games they score 1. And it's been really troublesome for this Capitals team this year to maintain their goal scoring. But hey, what better team to get going goal scoring wise than against the Toronto Maple Leafs right now? Carm, they are off an unbelievable 10-7 game against the Detroit Red Wings. I think you and I were talking on the phone briefly, saying that pretty much the same thing happened to us. We both tuned into that game at the exact same time. I was watching the Canadiens game, and then I flipped to this game when it was over, and I still got to see 4 goals. People are calling out Jack Campbell. They're calling out Peter Mrazek. There's definitely been some really poor goaltending going on, but I have a feeling, we've heard this before. Isn't there a guy named Freddie Anderson that got chased out of Toronto as well, Carm? And now look at how he's doing. So this team right now is allowing goals, whether it's 6 goals, 5 goals, 4 goals, 7 goals. There's issues right now in Toronto as far as goaltending and defense. My question to you, obviously the Capitals are struggling offensively. Do we go back to the over in a Leafs game, or is this the game they get to the under and play better defensively against a team that's struggling to score?
Yeah, I think. Excuse me. I think the first game after one of these games where you allow 7 goals, usually that practice in the morning is a tough one. The fact that they got the win probably makes it a little easier on Sheldon Keefe skating these guys into the ground. I don't think he's going to do that at this point. I think you draw a line through that game. You have to draw a line through that game because 10-7 games aren't the NHL norm. 2 teams scoring more than 7 goals, or even 1 team scoring 7 goals, isn't the norm in the NHL. The thing is, when you look at when I looked at this game and you look at the Leafs, drawing a line through that. When you look at their last 5 games on the road, and losses to Columbus, losses to Montreal, losses to Vancouver and Calgary in 4 of the 5 previous games. Now, the one caveat of that is you look at it, and Columbus, Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary, when they faced the Leafs, were all having good runs themselves. Columbus is still having a good run, other than that loss yesterday where they led for most of the game. Those teams were in the midst of win streaks at the time. So Toronto faced good teams at that point. The thing here is Washington is they're struggling to score. Andrew, usually if one guy struggles to score in a team, you've got other guys that can pick it up. They don't have anyone that's picking it up. They all seem to be slumping at the same time. This is a team that four more days off. They're 1-3 this year, so they don't do well off of long layoffs. They're 2-8 their last 10 at home. They're averaging 2.13 goals per game at home. This is a Washington team that normally scores a ton of goals, and they're just not scoring goals because everyone is struggling at the same time. Even the power play unit is struggling. It is tough. You look at that game in Philadelphia. I had them as well too in that game. You go into a game, you're ready to turn it around. You're playing a team like the Flyers who have lost a bunch of games, and then you're down 1-0, 11 seconds into the game. I don't understand how any team in the NHL allows a goal that early in the game, but you're down 1-0, and all of a sudden you're playing catch up. And when you're struggling to score goals, you end up on the wrong end of a 2-1 scoreline. The game before that, the Rangers, a 4-1 scoreline. So it's a team struggling to score goals. So while you might want to say, yeah, let's look at the under, 6.5 seems high here. I actually rather lean on Toronto here. They somehow found a way to win a game in which they allowed 7 goals. Every goalie in that game had a save percentage of in the 800s. I think one of them had in the 700s. It wasn't a game for goalies. It was a one-off. Draw a line through it. Toronto's playing well right now, and it's minus 140. I'll take that.
I think we're getting a reasonable price as well, Carm. Looking at the way that the Washington Capitals have played recently, I was a little bit confused by this number I saw at the opener with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and maybe it's because of the defensive issues or the goaltending problems with them right now. But when you've got Mitch Marner scoring a natural hat trick in the second period, 3 straight goals, so many guys contributing for this team, Michael Bunting putting himself in that Calder Trophy race. I mean, right now, this is the most depth we've seen the Leafs have all season long. And to play a team like the Capitals right now, like I said out the gate, maybe this could be an opportunity for the Washington Capitals to get back on track against a team that is allowing quite a few goals per game. But they haven't been scoring as many and they can't finish. And I'll tell you what, that's got to be frustrating because I haven't watched that many Philadelphia Flyer games this year. I'm not going to lie to you. But when I watched this game, and I watched pretty much all of it, the Capitals versus Flyers, if we're talking about, soccer here, this was like 80-20 possession or 70-30. I mean, it was just pure dominance. And what have we seen lately in soccer, Carm? You know more than me about this, but all my soccer friends always tell me possession doesn't mean anything anymore. That's what they always tell me in soccer. Possession doesn't mean anything. You could have one team hold the ball. You could sit back and counter. It seems to me like the Capitals having possession right now hasn't really done much for them. They're getting lots of shots, but they aren't really getting dangerous shots. And so I'd recommend people, if you want to take a look at some shot props in this game, it could be a good opportunity to do that because the Capitals are definitely getting their shot numbers up well above the 30s. They just can't finish. I think they had like 16 or 17 shots at the end of the first period against the Flyers. Something crazy. It might have been like 15 shots. So I'll say to you guys out there, if you like the Capitals tonight, take a look at some shots on goal props. But both Carmine and I think it's a pretty reasonable price and generous price on the Maple Leafs there. And to your point there, I really believe that they're going to try and buckle down defensively. That's got to be the only message in the locker room after a game like that happens when you win 10-7. That's just a really crazy score.
Yeah, and and the thing is, if I saw any life out of Washington in their previous 2 games, and I didn't. The one thing on having some time off is I watched a ton of hockey while I was in bed. I still had the screens up there and watching a ton of games, and they just look listless. But the best way to turn that around is when you play a quality team. We saw the Bruins with some injuries and suspensions. Colorado came to town, and you guys liked Colorado sorry, you guys liked Boston in that game. I wasn't too sure on it. But the Bruins beat them like 5-1. It's how you turn around a slumping season. So you get Toronto to come in and you play one of your better games and it just sparks the team, right? So you keep an eye on Washington tonight. If Washington wins this game, you might want to look at maybe this is the turnaround for the team and look at their schedule over the next week to 10 days and see do they have a ton of days off? Is it 1 or 2 days in between games? And if it's a regular schedule for them and some easier teams, it sparks. A game like this can spark you. You have a high-flying Toronto team that scores a ton of goals coming in. You win this game, you beat the Leafs 3-2, and it sparks your season.
It's going to be a good one to watch. I can't wait to watch this game tonight. Definitely 3 games on tap, but some great games to look into. Let's jump into our next game. Let's talk about the Boston Bruins and the LA Kings. We've got the Boston Bruins minus 125 on the road, LA Kings plus 105 at home. We have now seen the Kings win 5 straight games. The Boston Bruins have won 4 straight games. Both these teams enter this game on an individual streak of their own. And hey, guys, not to keep patting myself on the back, but this LA Kings team means business. They fly under the radar, and I was happy that was my buy team last week in the buy and sell segment. And a lot of credit goes to their goal scoring, but their defense has certainly stepped it up a little bit. But when I look at this game, we have to respect how the Boston Bruins have certainly picked it up, Carm. They're healthier now. They're playing better hockey, taking care of the puck, getting some pretty good goaltending, and it makes a huge difference. Getting Marchand back from his suspension, getting Bergeron, their captain, back, and getting some defensemen back as well. This team looks a whole lot different when they're a healthy hockey team.
Yeah, they definitely are. When we talk about depth on teams, the Bruins are what just happened to them is a prime example of needing more depth. They had Bergeron out of the lineup. They had Marchand because of an injury, Marchand out because of that suspension, and this team couldn't score goals. Over a span of 4 games, they scored 4 total goals with these guys out of the lineup. Get them back, and now they're winning games. They're winning games again. But it just leads to the fact that this is one of those the teams you want to be careful of towards the end of the year, because if you have 1 or 2 guys missing, they're just not going to be a team you want to be betting on with players out of the lineup. Now they're healthy and they're winning games, Andrew. You look at LA, both these teams are going to be in a playoff race of some sort come the end of the year, because the West is ultra competitive, and I don't think the Kings will eventually finish in one of the top 3 spots in their division. And then you look at the Bruins; they won't finish top 3 in the division, so they're going to be battling for that 7th and 8th playoff spot, and it's all about positioning. If Columbus continue to win some games, maybe they make themselves known as a threat for a playoff spot, or if Washington keeps tanking as they have over the last little while, maybe there's a playoff race in the East. But I think the top 8 are a given, and it's just those final 2 spots who's going to end up in them, and it'll likely be the Bruins as far as that goes. I'm looking at the total here, and look at the Kings. They've got a nice run going, but I always talk about strength of schedule. You can only beat who they put in front of you, but they beat an Islanders team on this 5-game win streak. They started off with an OT win against the Vegas Golden Knights, then beat Arizona back-to-back, beat Anaheim, who were struggling, and then beat an Islanders team whose season is effectively over. So you can only beat who they put in front of you, but they beat 5 teams. There were 4 teams at least that they were supposed to beat, or 4 games they were supposed to win. 2 of them were against Arizona. But this is a different beast in Boston tonight, who are playing better defensively. I think in that game against the San Jose Sharks, they kept the team to 16 shots on goal. You're not going to score a lot of if you've got a good goalie, you're not going to allow a lot of goals when you're only allowing 16 shots on a goal. But I'm looking at the total in this one, Andrew. 7-0-3, the Bruins, their last 10 to the under, and they're on a 6-0 under run. Again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, this is a 6-0 run on the road, that they play a different game on the road than they do at home. they're much more defensive minded. So I'm going to go with that again here and look at the Bruins. Bruins to win this game and for it to stay under the total. So I'm all good with a 3-1 Bruins win tonight.
Yeah, I looked towards the exact same type of score line here. We've seen Swayman play a lot better of hockey lately. We've seen Jonathan Quick certainly pick things up and become really impressive this year. They're expected to start tonight for their teams. And you know, look at this schedule for the Kings. Pretty much the exact same thoughts as you, Carm. I mean, the LA Kings did their job in winning the games they should have beat. I didn't think they were going to win all of them, but they won the games that were in front of them that they had the potential to beat. They were, to me, games that were winnable against weaker teams, against teams that were struggling. And if any team gets in Arizona on a back-to-back, hey, that's a pretty good week. You know, get a good chance to get 2 straight wins against a team like that. Although they can play the upset sometimes, but hey, getting teams like Ottawa, getting teams or excuse me, like New York and Anaheim. And you look at Boston as well, though. It's not like you said, it's not like they've played the biggest of competition either. So I'm not going to sit here and say they've played the toughest of competition, but I've just been impressed in victory. Very similar to what you've said. I've been impressed in victory as to how the Maple Leafs are getting this scoring, how they're taking care of the puck in their own end, like I mentioned. And I have no problem with a team winning a 1-goal game like they have twice during this little streak they've had against both Seattle and Ottawa. To me, margin of victory is a little bit different to me than some other people might think. You know, if you win a game 3-2, but you played a solid hockey game, great defensively, and took care of the puck, that's fine by me. I'm not just a scoreboard watcher. I'll watch the games and figure out stuff that way. And the Bruins right now are playing good hockey. I think the way the LA Kings schedule was set up, I think the LA Kings are kind of at a high right now, and this could be a good spot to start selling for at least the time being. I believe they're going to make a playoff run, a playoff stretch, I guess, to try and make that spot. But after a good week buying them last week, guys, I'm going to go against them tonight and take the Bruins at what I think is a pretty short price here. So, Carm, any follow up there?
Yeah, in talking about that, and this is an important thing. There are so many games going on, and when we talk about you can only be who they put in front of you, those are the games that you're supposed to win. And this is why when we talk about, and you'll see it later in Andrew's buy and sell segment, and last year I talked about forecasting teams. Just looking at team schedules, spend some time, do the homework, look at a team's next week, look at their next 10 games that they're going to play. If you see this team turning around and winning a couple of games impressively, and then they've got another 5 or 6 games coming up over the next 10 days that you look at and you say to yourselves, these are games they should be winning. This is when you get on that team. Don't wait until this team has won 7 in a row and then say to yourself and lament and say, man, I should have jumped on them after that win number 2. I thought they had a good schedule ahead. You don't have to focus on 31 teams or 32 teams or 30 teams and try and make money each and every night. Sometimes it is finding those 1 or 2 teams that you can play over the next 7 to 10 days because they have a favorable schedule and you can make money off of them. And it's something that you've got to look at. It's sometimes just focusing in on a few things instead of trying to look at look for the one good apple. Instead of buying the whole bushel and focusing on 60 of them, if that makes any sense to you whatsoever. But that's why the look ahead is such a valuable tool sometimes.
Yeah, and I got to thank you, Carm, because I've always looked into that stuff, but you really put me on looking at schedules in a long way, and even just for 1 week or a week and a half to try and figure out kind of a pathway a certain team will go on. It's been really helpful for me this season and trying to find out, hey, what are the buy spots going to be? What are the sell spots going to be? And where are the tough games going to come? And that's what we can do, and we can try and predict the prices. And, we're not saying, when I say I'm buying on a team, like you said, Carm, we don't expect them to go just perfect and just win the next week and a half. But we think that, talk about strength of schedule, we're going to find some teams that have good schedules in front of them that can win some games. Let's talk about the Vancouver Canucks now. This is our last game to discuss. They're playing the New Jersey Devils here on the road. The Devils, they're minus 125 at home. The Canucks plus 105. Totals at 6 in this game. We have seen Vancouver win 3 straight here. An impressive win against the Rangers. They take that one 5-2. And before that one, putting up 7 goals against the Calgary Flames. How about the New Jersey Devils, Carm, giving up 8 goals in their last game? A team that has been absolutely a disaster on the defensive side of things. Sure, they've been able to find their scoring touch. They've had several guys contributing. They're a team that I have no problem taking, scoring props with or anything like that. But they're not really reliable in their own end either. Vancouver got to be riding a high right now after a couple of great games here, Carm.
Yeah, it is crazy for the season the Devils have had. You look at some of their games of late, and it's literally pond hockey. 7-1 in Montreal, 7-4 in St. Louis. Then you see some score lines where they allow 4 goals and 6 goals to the Pens and Devils, and then they go into Pittsburgh and beat Pittsburgh 6-1, and then they allow 8 to Chicago. This is one of the toughest teams to figure out. The one thing you can figure out is their games seem to have a ton of goals, and this is why when I look at something, I look at the when you look at the totals in this game. Jersey, their last 10 are 7-2 and 1 to the over. The Vancouver Canucks, 6-2 and 2. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is still a winning record if you're betting the totals in their games. I'm actually looking at the first period over 1.5 here, Andrew. The last 10 games, the Devils have gone over the total in the first period 9 of 10 times. Vancouver 7-3. Those stats are from our friend there on Twitter, who does a ton of work on it, PSU Auto. You look at it, and those stats are unbelievable. If you're betting Jersey overs, and they're not always big prices. So you're not always laying 160s and 170s on these. You look at tonight's, and tonight's it's at minus 135. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the first period over because I'm looking at the goalies here, and it's likely going to be Gillies in goal. The expected starters right now are Halak and Gillies. And Halak, he's only been in goal twice in the month of February. One was the game against where he got his I think a million or $1.5 million bonus for playing 10 games. He also then went out there on the ice and allowed 5 goals on 12 shots in the first period and got pulled. He came on in relief in that game that he lost against Anaheim 7-4, and he allowed 2 goals on 11 shots, I think, in the third period of play. So he hasn't been very stellar. He's a backup goalie, and for a reason. Then you look at Gillies, and he's allowed 3 or more goals in 5 of his last 6 starts, 4 or more in 4 of 6. And in those 6 games, 3 games, he allowed 6 goals. He's not comfortable between the pipes either. 2 teams that have shown they can score some goals. I think we see them tonight. So for me, I'm going to take the over first period in this one, over 1.5, minus 135.
You mentioned that price there on the Devils' first period over. And like you said, you would think that at this point, every single game would just have a jacked up number for that first period over with the Devils. Whether it's them doing the scoring or their opponents doing the scoring, the first period over has been very successful in games that involved the New Jersey Devils. It's been unbelievable. But for this Vancouver Canucks team right now, the way they're scoring, the way that they're finding the way to throughout their lineup, spread the scoring around, and really, dump the puck in more. They're not really being a carry the puck in the zone type of team anymore. They're more of a dump and chase team. Go gather the puck, settle things in, and try and create opportunities that way. And it looks like it's really been helping for them. They're not really a small team. They're a relatively big team. Lots of bigger players, physical players in that team that can go in the corners, go into the boards, and dig the puck out and try and make a play from behind the net. And that's kind of what I expect in this one as well. I expect a back and forth game. So I potentially could see Vancouver getting things done on the road. And a lot of it would be a value play here. I don't think they should be plus 105 today here, Carm. But I do see some goals in this game as well from both teams that can be a little bit unreliable defensively, but both teams can certainly score right now. Any follow-up, any last words on this game, Carm, before we jump into buy and sell?
No, you look at it, and Vancouver's playing so well, and you think that they are going to go into this game and beat up on a New Jersey team. This New Jersey team somehow just finds ways of surprising you, and off that 8-5 loss, I don't know. Do they surprise a Vancouver team tonight? They play a completely different game, it seems, at home on the Rock. And with that said, they could be. So the surprising thing is that you look at the markets on these games, and from last night to tonight, there's been little to no movement whatsoever in these prices. I know New Jersey did start at about minus 130, 135 yesterday. And I thought, well, that's likely going to come down a bit. And it's at 125, I think, right now. I think the price is right. They should be favored at home, even though Vancouver's playing well. They're scoring goals. And I think if it is a lock in goal, then I would lean to New Jersey as well, too, along with the over in this game. The only goalie that's been confirmed of the 6 tonight is Samsonov, I believe, for the Washington Capitals. Yeah, he's the only goalie confirmed at this point. But with that said, Andrew, it's the buy and sell feature. Every Monday, you guys know we do it. This has been a good one last week for Andrew. Let's see if we can make it another one. Let's keep it rolling. Here's the buy and sell with McInnis.
All right, guys, we are back once again this week for the buy and sell segment. Looking forward to hopefully cashing some winners once again. Last week, we were selling the Winnipeg Jets. We were buying the LA Kings. That worked out pretty well for us. Well, today, guys, let's start with the sell team, and I believe I've already sold them during this year so far, and that says something about this team and how I feel about them. We are selling the San Jose Sharks here, guys, this week. They are struggling defensively. In 7 of their last 8 games, they've given up at least 3 goals, which is not something to be proud of. They have not played good defense, and their goaltending has certainly gone downhill. I talk about injuries and having a healthy team. They have an injured blue line, and they've seen some sloppy back checking from their forwards. When you are injured at the defensive position and you don't see your forwards help out and come back, especially when you have those injuries, that is worrisome for me. And the scoring depth continues. I talked about this weeks ago about this team, and I'll discuss it again. If it's not a few guys on the top line scoring, if it's not the top 6 scoring, it's nobody scoring with this San Jose Sharks team. They need help on as far as their depth goes, and that's what really hurts them. I don't like their schedule coming up, guys, and all of this together tells me the San Jose Sharks are most certainly a sell team for this week, guys. We'll be able to make some money off fading the San Jose Sharks and their banged up blue line. Let's jump into our buy team. I got to give a huge shout out to Terry. Terry is always in our chat room with us, and he is a Minnesota Wild fan, and I am buying the Minnesota Wild this week, guys. They have a chance to get back on track after a little bit of a slump they went through. Every team goes through it. The Wild had their turn. Now they get a chance to hopefully take at least 3 out of 4 games against the Flames, Flyers, Sabres, and Stars. I believe they can win at least 3 of those games. They are number 2 in the league in shot percentage. Whenever they shoot the puck, watch out because they are executing at an alarming rate. And they are number 3 in the league in goals per game. It's a very dangerous team. It's a high-scoring team. And they have plenty of threats all over the ice. Minnesota went through a small slump, guys. They weren't playing their best hockey. This week, I am buying on them to get back on track. Whether you're playing the regulation, whether you're playing the puck line, we are buying the Minnesota Wild for this week. We are buying the Wild. We are selling the Sharks. Let's try and make some money again here this week. And I'll go to Carm and ask you, any disagreements here with me this week, Carm?
No, I like both of them. I just had to write down the notes on them so I can quiz you on it next Monday when we're looking for a 3rd consecutive or 4th consecutive buy and sell winning feature from you. But I like it. The Minnesota one I think they can win all 4 of those games. Although anytime you play the Calgary Flames right now, you seem to get burnt. But also, Andrew, we've always talked about when a team loses the first game of a sort of a back-to-back with another home and away with a team, I like to play them the next time out to the team that lost. And it seems to work for the most part on the year. It's been a winning proposition. So we'll see if that happens here. But best of luck with those.
Thank you, and I want to thank everybody out there for the support so far with the segment. I believe we're not going to have winning weeks every week, but it's gone well so far. So if you see it on Twitter, make sure you retweet it for me and try and spread the word around about this new segment. It's a short slate. It's 3 games here, Carm. We still have some best bets to hand out. We still have some promotional stuff. It's $9 Monday. Looking forward to today. Going to be in action both on the hard court and on the ice. Let's go to you. For your best bet and anything you want to tell our audience.
Yeah, first and foremost, before I get into the best bet section segment here, again, thanking you guys again for all the messages and stuff. Hopefully within a week's time or so, everything will be back to normal for me. I'm starting to feel a little bit better, which is the most important part. Again, the March 18th is the meet and greet, puck time meet and greet. There are a bunch of other Wager Talk people there. Prez will be there. Kelly will be there. Kelly in Vegas, of course. Myself, Brian, Andrew, Marco, Las Vegas, Chris, some of the Wager Talk family as well too. I'll see if we can get Dave Koken to come out. And come out, grab some free swag, say hello. I'll buy you guys a drink. If you can't make it that day, I'll be there a little earlier on the 14th. I come into town. I'll be at Circa watching some games. So if you're in the area of Circa, come and visit me. And now, as far as the best bet, Andrew, I'm going to go to back to the last game that we discussed, that over 1.5 in the first period of the Vancouver and New Jersey game. Again, we don't know who the goalies are. Different sites are reporting different things. It's showing Halak at most places, but we always know that can change. It's showing Gillies on one site, Nico Dawes on another site, but we'll wait for those goalies to come out. I still think this goes over. 9-1 for the Devils, last 10 over the total in the first period. 7-3 for the Canucks over the 1.5 in the first period. That's how I'm going to go on this one. Over at Wager Talk, no soccer plays today. There's only a couple of games. I don't really like either one of them. If I do anything, I'll tweet it out. And one play up in NHL tonight. It's a 5% play. You can get that for $9. 5-2 to start the new year with NHL 5% plays. Hope to keep a good run going in the NHL in the new year. It's been going well. That's it.
Awesome, Carm. Yeah, those 5% plays have been good for you in general, not just hockey, but just in general. So check that play out over at Wager Talk with Carmine Bianco. $9 Monday. Like I said, I'll be involved in plays on the ice and in basketball as well on the hard court. Looking forward to tonight, guys. It's only a small slate in the NHL, but lots of opinions, lots of games I like, and we're waiting some information on some player injuries and some goaltending stuff. And you'll see all of my plays pop up at wagertalk.com as well. For me, I'm going to go for my best bet with the Boston Bruins on the money line. Obviously, they're playing a team that's also on a heater as well. But the Boston Bruins have really gotten their act together. They're taking care of the puck. They're playing solid hockey. They're relatively healthy now. And I like the way they're winning games right now. And I think the LA Kings are going to be on a little bit of a downhill after a great week last week. We're getting a reasonable price here with the Bruins at -125. And I'll take them tonight to win this game for my puck time best bet. Carmine Bianco looking at Vancouver, New Jersey. First period up and over the total of 1.5 at -135. We want to thank all of you guys for tuning in every single day, all the interaction in the chat room on YouTube. We appreciate all of you guys. Don Buster, he's next up tomorrow on Puck Time, and we'll see you guys then.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.